And now, the Android Basics segment. This is a segment where we discuss the things that power your device from behind the scenes. And now, here's this week's episode, Android Basics.
And now we turn to our Android Basics section. And this time, it's all about sideloading. An often debated and can be quite heated topic. We were rehearsing some of those debates whilst we were preparing to record the episode. So hopefully this will be a lively discussion. So just to set the scene a little bit, I'll explain what sideloading is. Typically on your Android phone, for the vast majority of users, you are going to install your apps from the Google Play Store. However, for a variety of reasons, some app developers choose not to put their apps on the Google Play Store. So simply speaking, sideloading is installing an app on your Android device that is not from the Google Play Store. You might have received it from a friend. You might have gone to another app depository, there are several, and installed the app from there. So sideloading is simply an app that is installed from outside the Play Store. So I think we'll start off by maybe going around the phones, the recording devices. Sally, what's your view on sideloading?
Well, sideloading is well, in my opinion, it is like that's what I do from time to time for trying out some apps which are now on Play Store, especially looking at other stores. Android is such a thing that you can find other app stores or other distributions where apps are available. For example, you find apps on GitHub, like open source repositories, or you can find F-Droid store where you will need to sideload. Though it's a store, you will still need to sideload through it. So I do that from time to time. So if you know what you're doing, if you know what it's all about, if you know what app that can do, what permissions it's all about, sideloading is, I think, okay for me. But it depends on what you want to install, what permissions the app gets. Again, I want to say that, I want to repeat that. But for me, it works. And for some circumstances, you're gonna try some apps, you just want to test those apps. It's not always Play Store. There are times you just need to sideload through different stores or directly from the developer itself.
Warren, what do you think about sideloading?
Well, talking about sideloading, I do want to mention here as a historian, the term sideloading, though, does not or did not originate because of Android. It's something that has been there even in the 90s. So the whole idea is that you're kind of trying to install something not directly coming from the internet and all of that. And so Android adopted that when we got Android in 2008. So I think it was maybe 2008, 2009 that, we adopted that term. So Android never coined the term sideloading. So I just want to throw that out there. But now talking about me as an individual, it's always like a very dark side for me. It's a kind of conflicted thing, if I may put it that way, because I'm looking at it from both sides, from the user's perspective and from Google's perspective. And it's like two worlds colliding. It's like what creates a hurricane or creates a tornado. You got a hot air and a cold air colliding, and the result is oftentimes not very good. And so for me, it's just, I'm kind of torn. And so I err on the side of not choosing to sideload. I will sideload if my life depends on that app, so to speak. For example, let's say there's an app that's from the Play Store, but it's not in my region, for example, and it's in Ed's or Karin or Sally's neck of the wood, and they installed it from the Play Store there in their country, and I could tell Sally or Karin or Ed, say, hey, send me that extract and send me that APK, because it's my life depends on it, right? So I would sideload that. But outside of that, really, it's just...
Excuse me, Warren, but this is no longer possible with many apps, actually. So you will die if this is the case, because actually Google is making it harder and harder to, or even almost impossible, because I tried recently with that video creator, one from OpenAI. I forgot the name now. And I installed it because it's not available here. And I couldn't open it because Google Play Store just showed me the message. This doesn't come from Play Store, so you have to install it from Play Store. And of course, it's not available in my region. So, and I just tried to search, and there was no simple fix for that. And I think it will be the same for many other apps. So, if an app is in the Play Store, if an app is on the Play Store, and you try to install an APK of the app, and assuming, of course, that the app is not available in your region, so you can't do anything about it right now.
That's so bad. Okay, so for me, I'm just not necessarily into sideloading, but like I said earlier, though, I'm trying to look at it from both viewpoints. From that viewpoint of the user wants to be able to do with their phone as they damn please, excuse my Espanol in there. So if you decide to go out and have a bonfire and burn all your phones, for example, no one is going to tell you don't do it. Although some environmentalists will say, hey, you're polluting the environment, or whatever the case may be. So someone may give you grief on account of that. But then outside of that, I think you should be able to do whatever you want to do with your phone. You want to sideload an APK, that's up to you. And yet in the same breath, though, for me, I see it from Google's viewpoint. I don't want to let you guys sideload because that's what had given Android a black eye, because anyone can put whatever they want in an APK, and someone who doesn't really take the time to check to see if there's anything in there or whatever. And I know someone may argue, oh yeah, you got the APK mirror or F-Droid or whatever. Well, yeah, I hear that, but I just frankly, I don't know. It's for me, it's a hard thing, and I don't think there's a winner in this. Google goes too hard, and you're offending people. And then if you let it too loose, then you're just encouraging horse thieving. That's my take on it.
Karine, what's your view on sideloading?
So it's no secret when we say that sideloading was something special that we used to talk about when we were just saying to iPhone users what they could earn, or what they could get when they use Android compared to iOS. So when iOS was without any capability to sideload, Android was just the free, or the more like. It was so easy to sideload on Android. So that was something that we used to talk about and to praise. And I'm completely with sideloading, and I don't think that it should be restricted. I mean, okay, you should, it's fine to show that message and to ask people to allow installing APKs from unknown sources, the message that we are all used to. And to give this permission when you want to install an APK, okay, it's fine. But Google deciding what should be done and what shouldn't be done is something different. I mean, they tried. I mean, they just when they talked about the restrictions that they would enforce, how much people were unhappy about it, and the backlash it caused, and there were campaigns from people, or from projects like F-Droid and others to stop it. So and now Google, let's say that it's trying to be to strike a middle ground, or to be like in the middle. Okay, we are not going to stop sideloading completely, but we will make it harder. It's fine. but I don't think that this would stop people from using sideloading for the bad things that people use sideloading for. I mean, if there's something, or only something that I can say that it's bad about sideloading, is the distribution of cracks. So people, it's not easy, of course, to let an app go through the Play Store and install it through the Play Store. It's kind of impossible. So people use sideloading for using cracked versions of applications. This is completely unethical, completely unacceptable. And I'm with the thing that says that, okay, Google could just, if it can detect that this app is a crack, it should uninstall it completely. Yeah, in this regard, I'm completely with the freedom of Google to do whatever it wants to stop such applications. I mean, yeah, it could be something terrible if we allow Google to start dealing with applications in this way. I know that many people aren't with me in that, but I mean, there's something that should be done to stop cracks, to make using cracks harder, because currently, if we want to be just honest about it, it's so easy to grab a crack and just install it. And if Google the Play Protect gives you any warning, you can just disable it and go ahead. So this is the main problem about sideloading. Other than that, sideloading was always something good, and I'll keep being supportive to this. Actually, I use Jisho, and many people do. So if you are a developer, you have either to comply by the Google Play policies that are updated always, and sometimes they could just ask for or demand things that you don't want to adhere to, or actually, like, example, they don't allow accessibility services to use for recording phone calls, for example, or for other things. So actually, if I'm a developer and I want to create an app with an accessibility service to try to record calls, I can't put my app in the Play Store. So I think that developers have the freedom to just stay away from Play Store's policies as long as they're not doing something harmful. And, you know, as Google is the developer of the Play Store and it's the owner, so it can put its own policies. There's nothing that we can say about it. So for that reason, sideloading should stay, should be always available, and Google should try just not to be that shouldn't interfere in such thing. I mean, it's fine if they keep the policy that they have decided, but I'm scared that eventually there will be a day that they will say, okay, we were preventing sideloading completely.
So I kind of see a little fallacy there, though. You can't have it both ways. It's your phone, and someone wants to install a cracked something on their phone, and you're telling them not to do it on their phone. Isn't that part of the choice, though?
No, because I'm doing something illegal. If I go to a shop and steal items from there, can people just say, okay, it's fine, this person is doing something that they want to do, it's fine, we will not intervene?
I don't know. It's, for me, I kind of see them kind of like it's hard to tear the two apart, because, like I said, this sideloading has encouraged a lot of horse thieving. That's the word I use for it, because this is why you find people pirating. It just encourages pirating, because I can get this app, pay for it, and go pirate it, decouple it, and then, make it available for people to sideload. So you see what I'm talking about? Frankly, because you open the Pandora's door here, and then it just encourages bad behavior. There's no ending, and you're not going to tell that guy you cannot install XYZ APK on their device. It's their choice.
I don't think we can say that sideloading is the source of cracking. Let's dial back a little bit.
No, it is. It is. If we couldn't sideload, hang on. If I could not sideload an APK, then frankly, no one would be pirating anything, because what's the point? No one is going to be able to install it. So why are you going to crack it?
I agree with that. And if you ban airplanes, there'll be no air crashes. And if you ban cars, no one gets run over. So, yes, of course you could do that. But it's a specious, silly argument. And I'll tell you for why. So you may think that phones are tied to app stores. But let's just take a step back. If you've ever used Windows, there is now a Microsoft App Store. And if you're worried about sideloading, JAWS and NVDA are quote-unquote sideloaded because they are installed outside the Microsoft Store. Now, are there cracks for JAWS on the internet? Yes, probably. There certainly shouldn't be. But just because you might be able to obtain a cracked version of a piece of software doesn't mean that it should be possible to install it. It doesn't mean that all software should need to be installed from the Microsoft Store. That's nonsense. You should only install software that you have the license to install and use. Clearly, there are bad actors who will do that, but that doesn't mean you shut down all external ways of installing software, just as banning planes to stop air crashes is a very, very silly thing to do.
Well, Ed, I hear what you are saying, and it makes sense, yet in the same breath, it doesn't make sense. And so here's why. My thinking is that Microsoft was never born on the internet. It wasn't until maybe 2 or 3 years ago that Microsoft started this whole idea of I'm going to have my own app store or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's a little bit longer than that. But Android, on the other hand, of course, started on the on the internet. Not even Apple had that. Android was the very first one that came with a store. Apple didn't have that. So you can see where this is going and how this doesn't compute yet. But in the same breath, frankly, I see where you're coming from. And like I said, it's just a bad situation. It just, whichever way you look at it, you got to look at both viewpoints, and both to me are valid. You cannot, let's be honest, you cannot deny people as to what they want to do with their devices. And yet in the same breath, you cannot totally blame Google for trying to protect its name. And so it's a very difficult thing. And this new implementation that they have of the advanced flow that they have implemented, whereby you got to enable a developer mode and wait for 24 hours. The one thing that Google was saying that I kind of find rather funny is that I don't think that there's anyone, a bad guy out there sitting out there and guiding people, telling them, oh, no, ignore this message and ignore that. Google was using that. I don't buy that for a minute. I don't think that there's anyone out there that's trying to sideload something and then it's not working, and then the guy that created it's trying to guide you on the phone saying do XYZ, and hence we're going to implement this developer option to you got to enable it and wait for 24 hours. I just don't know, guys. What do you think about that? I don't buy that that notion.
Well, Warren, what you were saying about Microsoft is not really valid. Let's take what you are saying as the right thing. Okay, so this means that there shouldn't be any refinement, any improvement, any development in any software if it starts at, for example, a certain era and then things change. So it's normal for operating systems, especially those which are like popular and mainstream, to follow the developments, to evolve with the developments. So this is something so normal. Doesn't mean that if Microsoft has started at the days when there was no internet, that it should stay like that, and whereas Android that started with an app store should just be different. So we should treat them completely the same, because Android and Windows, if we don't look at app stores or anything related to that, to the full image, to the complete image, to the operating system itself, they have undergone so much advancements, so much development, so much shifts and changes to be up to date. So saying that, okay, this didn't start when the internet was there doesn't mean at all that things should be different between the two. So this is my argument about it. I'm completely with that regarding this matter.
Hold that beer, bartender. Let me ask you one question. Do you have a Microsoft account? When you sign onto your computer right now, are you signing into a Microsoft account?
Yeah, I'm signed in using the Microsoft account. Where's the problem?
You have a Microsoft account, so when you turn on your computer, you're signing into Microsoft account?
You mean to
Or you have a local account?
Actually, I have a local account, but
Why?
I signed in. Okay, it's fine. What's the point?
No, that's the point.
I got
I'm
my
making a
Microsoft
point
account
here.
Yeah.
I'm making a point here because Microsoft doesn't want us to use local accounts. Why under heaven are you using a local account?
What's the problem?
You see, you're now on my side. That's what I'm saying. Microsoft was
I'm
never
not
born
getting
on
your
the
point.
internet. Hang on. Microsoft was never born on the internet. You remember back in those days, we used to have floppy disks. We have to sideload, and you got to install so many diskettes and all of that. Hold that drink, bartender.
Okay.
We have to do all of this, and now Microsoft is trying to force us the same thing that Google is doing, and you guys are giving Google a bad time about it, but you want to give Microsoft a pass on this one? Give me a break.
Actually, I couldn't get the point here. Actually,
I'm using a Microsoft local account as well on my laptop, and I don't.
Why are you using a local account when Microsoft wants you to use?
I do exactly the
their
same thing.
own?
Because
Why
I
are
do
you
what
using a local account?
I want. Because I do what I want, not what Microsoft
but it's
wants.
okay for you
This
to
means
do
that
that
we should
with
support
Microsoft,
sideloading
but yet in the
because-
same breath, you are trying to give Google a bad time.
Are you getting the point here?
It couldn't be any clearer than what I'm saying. I'm
Well,
just saying,
wait.
Microsoft that did not start
saying-
on the internet is wanting to force us into this, and you guys want to give it a pass.
No, I'm saying I shouldn't be forced into anything, which is why I should be able to sideload. So I do not want to have to use my online Microsoft account to log into my laptop. This seems a nonsense thing to need to do.
The whole
So I
thing,
don't do it. But the good thing is,
said,
Microsoft,
Ed, we have a
Microsoft lets me
problem.
not. Microsoft lets me not do it, and that's fine. So Microsoft understands that I don't want to do it either. What's really bad about Microsoft, what's really, really bad that everyone should be aware of with Outlook New, I don't use it, I'm using Outlook Classic, but Outlook New requires you to route all your email through Microsoft servers. That is surely a very, very bad thing when your email service might not be connected to Microsoft at all.
I think it's a very confused area because users, we want that autonomy, we want to be able to do what we want, and yet in the same breath, these companies want to keep a tab on what we're doing. So we're such at a place that, frankly, is like, dang if I do and darn if I don't, whatever the case may be. It's a catch-22. There's got to be a balance, and I don't know that Google's solution, like I said earlier on, the argument that they used that some developer may be talking someone on the phone saying ignore that. I don't know of anyone wants to sideload an APK and wants to contact the person and having them guiding them on the phone, try to ignore this, ignore this. I don't know where Google came up with that from, but frankly, it's what it is. I think when it's all said and done, we can all agree to disagree or whatever, that the whole thing is convoluted. Both sides have a view, have a point.
I was going to say that I think what you need to bear in mind, and why Play Stores confuses a little bit, is you need to have a good security mindset when you're using your device. Now, Play Store is relatively safe, but it's not the case that all Play Store apps are safe. Certainly, malware has been introduced through the Play Store. So I think anybody who installs any app from anywhere needs to bear in mind, is this from a reputable source? Play Store is one. Sally's mentioned a couple of others. Is it an app that's, you know, trying to do a good thing? Is it a good faith app, if you know what I mean? You know, cracks are bad. We've talked about that. So, and I worry sometimes that if you think, oh well, side loading's bad, then anything from the Play Store is automatically safe, and it just isn't. So I think when you're installing an app on any operating system, whether it's Windows, Mac, Android that you're talking about now, or iOS, you need to have the right security mindset set about, do I need this app? What does it do? Why am I installing it? And that will help in some instances and not lull you into a false sense of security about side loading and not side loading.
I want to comment on what you said. Actually, you are right about it. And there's something here. Actually, people sometimes are, they try to think when they see a warning, because currently, okay, I know that Samsung has the option to disable side loading. It's on by default on the newer One UI, but One UI versions. But it's easy to just go ahead and enable the side loading. It's not a big deal. But usually people are used to the thing that, okay, we see an APK in a Telegram group, for example, or WhatsApp group, and just we go ahead and install it. So people are used to that. And yeah, many people don't at all think if this APK is safe, where does it come from, who's actually sharing it, why this person is sharing it. And sometimes many people don't know at all the source. Even the people who share the APK don't know the actual original source, because it's shared from one place to place to place and like that. So if people are forced to think, and to when they're also seeing the warning that, okay, be careful, this could be harmful, this could be dangerous. Yeah, some people would just think and say, okay, should I install this? And then they'll have the 24 hours time. So this, I think, could help lower the risks for some people, especially those people who just take such warnings seriously, even if they don't know what's the problem or what's the whole thing is about. So I think this could help in that scenario. And I think that it will eventually lower the side loading and makes side loading for like a set of people. Usually people who know what they are doing and people who are using cracks. So yeah, I don't think that this will stop cracks at all. And one point I was going to talk about is the people that we forget about, and they are affected by any issue related to side loading. Those people are people in areas where there are protests, where governments are trying to crack down on people's rights, to censor their freedoms. So sometimes such APKs are distributed locally among people. For example, for communication, to distribute news related to protests, uprisings, and such. So such developers have let's say it's a legit, completely legit right to distribute APKs, sometimes in groups, local groups. So when Google wants from every developer to just upload the ID, and they want people to verify, the developers to verify their identity there. This could lead to security threats to those people. This could lead to problems, serious problems, because such people can't reveal their identity, even if they are revealing it to Google itself. So this could lead to a serious problem for those people. could sometimes make them think twice before developing an application and creating it, because they don't want to put themselves under more threats. So for that reason, sideloading is something really genuinely necessary, because we should always remember that there are those people who are just facing troubles, who are fighting sometimes dictatorships, who are having serious troubles, and who are in very problematic situations and circumstances that sometimes we don't even think about. So yeah, this is one point that we should always remember about when we talk about sideloading, and when Google decides, for example, to make sideloading tied to developer verification.
Talking about the developer authentication and all of that, we want to mention here in passing, however, that this may be taking effect like in August, I think the 26th or the 27th. And there are 4 countries that would start to see that. I think those countries are Indonesia, Thailand, Brazil, and I think Singapore. I think those are those 4 countries. And so let's keep an eye on that, guys. It's a very good debate. And like I said, I see the point from both points. They're both valid, because if it's your device, like I said, if you want to go out and burn it, you're totally allowed to burn your device, except, of course, some environmentalists would tell you, no, you can't. But other than that, it's my device. I want to install whatever I want to install on it. I think it should be left to me to install that thing on my device. And yet, in the same breath, I can see where Google is coming from, because, we hear people say Android is not good because it's full of malware and blah, blah, blah. And to be honest, the bigger percentage of the malware comes from side loaders. And we cannot deny that.
One thing I want to add regarding this one is that if you decide to enable sideloading after waiting for 1 day, you can either enable it for 1 week or enable it forever. So it's your choice at that moment to decide the time. And something else, if you use ADB, and you are familiar with ADB and you know how to install applications using ADB commands, you don't have to wait the 1 day when you want to install an APK. This is something good, because sometimes we just need to install an application quickly, and we don't want to wait that time to start to install the app. So you can just go ahead and use ADB, which is something great that Google didn't stop that.
This is why ADB is good, especially for those of you got a Samsung device and you want to install Google's TalkBack on there and disable that. So yeah, you still use that power if you don't want to wait, but you got to know what you're doing. So this is for those that are enthusiasts and know what they're doing. They could bypass all of that. And so that's the freedom that we still have there in Android that is not taken away, while it is still being made difficult for the newbies to do this. Yet those who know what they're doing still have those freedoms intact. So when it's all said and done, after all the brouhaha has cooled down and dust have settled, we still have freedom on Android.
Yeah, I wonder how many freedoms you have to give up in order to be free, personally. But a couple of questions for Kareem. So the ADB command, is that to install an individual app to circumvent the 24-hour thing, or can you use ADB to turn off the 24-hour thing totally?
As far as I know, it's only for installing applications. So if you want to install an app without enabling sideloading, for example, you can just go ahead and install the app. I don't think that there's an ADB command to let you stop the whole thing related to the whole procedure related to starting developer mode and waiting for the 24 hours until they end and then go for installation. I don't think that this is possible.
the whole idea is like, say you got that APK that you want to install, but you don't want to go through that process of enabling developer whatever and wait for 24 hours. You can then in turn, being the impatient person that you are, Ed, and you want to do it right now. I'm just kidding with you, bro. But whoever doesn't want to wait, then you could just use that ADB. So the whole idea is to be able to install it right here and now instead of waiting for 24 hours. But it has nothing to do with saying that's going to prevent or making it possible for me to install any other APK from now on without the process. So if you don't want to use that developer thing and wait for the 24-hour, and if you know how to do ADB, anytime you want to install that APK, you just visit that ADB and get the installation going. That's the whole idea.
Well, the point is that usually people who use ADB are advanced enough to know what they are doing. So they have to enable developer options. They have to enable debugging, either wireless debugging or USB debugging, and connect the devices. So usually those people know what they are doing. I know that because of TalkBack trouble here and the drama of TalkBack, some people are using ADB to install Google's TalkBack and uninstall to install Google's TalkBack and uninstall Samsung's one without even knowing what they are doing sometimes. But this is something completely different. They don't, if we look at it, if we want to be honest about it, those people shouldn't need or shouldn't be required to deal with ADB at all. But this is the case with Samsung, and guides are already so much popular to the point that people are doing this easily. But usually a person who's using ADB is already knowing what he's doing.
And the other thing is, after the 24 hours, do we know if you just rerun the APK you tried to install, or does it require you to do something different? Does a little notification pop up and take you somewhere else, or does it just mean that you can run the APK?
Did they talk about that? I don't think that. Did they talk about the details here?
No, there's not much details, but like you said earlier, Karine, once you enable that, you could have it for 7 days, or you could say from now on, keep it that way. So that's what that is.
Yeah, but like after the first 24 hours, like literally what happens? Do we know what the workflow is? Like, I get that you can change it.
Yeah, well, until, because right now that hasn't been implemented, so we can't speculate on what happens, but we'll wait and see. We're almost April, or what am I saying? August is a few months away from here, and it seems like the implementation is not going to be like at once. Like I said, it's going to be starting with those 4 countries before it gets to everybody and all of that. So we'll see how that goes. But I think, like we've been saying, these things are still going to be there where we could install whatever we want. It's just a little bit more of a process. And I think, though, when you look at it, it's probably a good thing. And yet, in the same breath, it may not be a good thing for the people that are not in the know. But then, thank God for the internet, you can Google that. So we go back to Google. You can Google how to sideload that with the implementation taking place, and it'll guide you to how to go about enabling that developer options to get what you want and wait for those 24 hours.
Yes, I think it's difficult. I mean, I don't mind some sort of check on your installation. That's sort of fine. I struggle to see how a 24-hour block in this digital world is a good thing for anybody. There must be better implementation ways, but let's see. Like, it's nonsense. Like, to me, it's utter nonsense. And I don't mind a check. I don't mind an authorization. Like, but this seems a ridiculous authorization to me. Let's see what happens. But
yeah, so I think in the void of leaving everything blocked, they have to come to some kind of an agreement or whatever. But really, like we said, when it's all said and done, it's your device. You want to do whatever you want to do with it. It's up to you. So it's just a very touchy area. But like I said, when it's all said and done, we still have those freedoms, even though those freedoms are kind of a little bit convoluted right now, most especially for those that are not very familiar. But you and I are talking about these things because we know what we're talking about, or we know the process. Like I've always said, it's only the Android enthusiasts that do this type of things, or know how to go about, developer options or whatever. The average Joe doesn't care. Let's be honest with ourselves. They just want their phone and take their pictures and call everything good. And if they want to install something, they go to the Play Store. But it's for those of us that want to go the extra, that we don't want those freedoms taken away. And I'm glad Google has left them in place, even though they're a little bit complicated, but we are up to the task. So I think when it's all said and done, we're good.
You say convoluted, I say severely constrained. I think it is the Android enthusiasts. But also, it's as Karine says, it's people in extremis in other environments that we're not living in that don't actually have a choice and need this flexibility because, problems arise, as she discussed earlier. So, yeah, well, we'll see what happens, don't we?
Said something. Said people will just go to the Play Store. The average Joe will just go to the Play Store and install apps. No, it's not the case actually, because average Joe will be just in a group. Nobody knows what that group is, and then many APKs are distributed there, and this person is used to tapping install whenever they see an APK. I know there are people who install the APK just for the sake of installing without knowing actually what does it do. So usually, yeah, this is the case sometimes. So it's different than other things that we can say that they are complicated. No, actually, the thing with Android, and I said it before. It was usually the uncomplicated thing to just find an APK in a group, or there are groups with thousands of members, and then you press install and just you go for something so simple to enable. It's a checkbox, and then you enable side loading, and it's done. So this is the case, and I think, as I said before, it will eventually make things harder for those people, and it will make some people just stop installing APKs, and maybe this is the only good thing about it. If those people just stop installing those harmful APKs without even knowing what they are doing actually.
And especially those that are side-loading cracks. If this minimizes cracks, I'm all for that.